Hi, this is Dr. Dunn. I had some questions come up about the files that show up in your workspace once you've got your Posit Cloud workspace for Lab 1 opened up. And I wanted to remind you, I just created this new workspace for Lab 1 Quick Start. Remember, it's a temporary copy when you first open it, and you need to save a permanent copy. If you do any work down here, say you start working on the rehearse and you change your name and those kind of things and save it, if you don't save here, doesn't matter what you do down here. So always save it as a permanent copy. Okay, and then once you've got it saved, you can name it to keep it straight. What I like to do for these things, I want to click on it and I want to put the date. This is the date that I created it, so it's 7-4-25. That way I can tell it from the other things I have there. Okay, so we save this, and when you open this workspace, it will open up in just what I call 3 panes. This is overall window, so these are panes like the glass in your window. And one is the console pane, and the console tab is where it opens by default. This is where your code will run. You'll see that as you run code. Okay. The second pane that opens up automatically, I call the environment pane because of this particular tab on the far left. And it lists all of the data objects or data artifacts that you have in this workspace. And here we've got the UN votes that we use in the rehearses and the remix. Down in the lower right is the files pane. It's got a number of other tabs there, but this is where the actual files that you work on are shown. And it starts out with a number of files here. I'm going to start from the top down. This is a .rdata file, and what that is, it just is a list of all of the objects that you created in your prior work session. Okay, and if you click on this, it shows up here under your global environment. I want to click on the drop down, and you can see these packages that were created the last time I ran this thing. So we don't really mess with the R data. The same thing with the R history. You click on it, it'll open up the source window. You can see the console window has dropped down, and it lists all of the steps that you've gone through. It's the history. And if you look up here, we've got another tab that says history, and it's similar. It goes through, everything you've done as well. And so it's just a copy of that history file that shows up here. I'm going to click back on environment. Okay, so the next thing, we've got 2 appendix files, the .rmd file, and that is the file that we actually edit and work on. And I included this appendix file because in the remix, you've got to select 2 new countries, and you don't know what the countries are in the 90 I think they have. And so you need to go to the appendix and look at that. And I went ahead and knitted this to an HTML file, which is right there. And if you click on that, it'll give you an option open in the editor, which would be up here, or in a web browser. So I'm going to click in editor because the web browser will put it in another tab. And you can see here, it just, again, it moved it up there. You can go through and edit it, and then preview, and it opens up in a browser. So that didn't help, I'm sorry. Anyway, that's what the appendix is. Then we've got a folder for images, and it's just what it names. It's all of the image files that we use in this first laboratory. So we really don't need to mess with that. I'm going to click on the up arrow there, the green dots, go back to the root folder. You can see up here, this is the path. We're in the cloud, Posit Cloud, and then we're in the project folder. And as we do other things, we'll get additional things added to the path up here. Okay, the next 2 files are the .rmd files, and those are the ones you work on. I'm going to jump down here to the Quick Start R project file. And again, we don't have to work on that. Use this file if you're in Posit Cloud. If you downloaded and you want to work in your desktop, the RStudio desktop, once you get to this folder, you just click on wherever you say you downloaded the folder onto your desktop, you click on this R project files and it will start RStudio desktop and load everything in there. So if we're in Posit, we don't have to worry with that. So we just got these two files. And I'm going to click on Rehearse and get that to open. I want to close some of these other tabs. And Appendix HTML. So here is the quick start, and what you would do here again is type in your name, do not delete the quote marks, and then update the date to the date you're working on, and then save it. Let me just go ahead, I'm going to change the date, so 4/25. Now we can see the name has turned red with an asterisk. It means I need to save it. And when we get ready to knit this, you can select the knit drop down, the knit options you can see behind that hand, and knit to HTML, PDF, or Word, or some other things here. We only use these up in the top. Knitting to HTML is the easiest technically, so it will, the one we recommend you start with. Then the option is knit to PDF file. That could cause more problems, so we really don't recommend you use that right now. If you can get it to knit to Word, that is the second easiest one to do, and that is the type of document that you would probably turn in. So I would suggest knitting to Word. If you knit to PDF, I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can see it's running down here in the rendering. That's what knitting is rendering. And it opens up in a browser. I want to close that. But you can see it added some files down here. We've got a log file, which you don't need to worry about. You can just get rid of that. But this would be the PDF file that you download and submit. But I'm going to go ahead and just click on both of those and delete those because we don't need those. Okay, so they're gone. So we're back to the original. And the student name remix file, of course, that's the final one. Again, you would change the name. You just click on it, rename, and put your name. I'm just going to do the first one here, DAW-PHT, and delete the name there. Went ahead and did the whole thing. So that's would let me identify what your file looks like. So that's an overview. This took more time than I thought, but that's what these files are here. And so remember, these are the ones we work with, and those are the ones you just need to remember. If you download the Workspace and want to use the R desktop app, then you would click on the Quick Start in your folder, and it would open up RStudio for you. Hope this helps.